This session is going to be UnConference, so we're going to make a little mess. Just turn around and face each other. This side, can you guys move your chair and this? Just turn your chair. Why don't you just do some logistic, because we didn't realize this event location is not going to be that conducive for UnConference, but we thought we'll hack it around, okay? Yeah, on the people on the left side, just face this side, and people on the right side, just face each other. So just make it like a oval kind of a setting, okay? Make it like a oval kind of a setting, okay? Yeah. No, it's one big oval, okay? So yeah, just turn and see each other so that we can do this. All right, I think we got it. Okay, good. I think our big boss Girish, where is he? So Girish needs no introduction. Girish, founder and CEO of Freshdesk, is going to be the host for this event.
Good evening, everybody. So I think I would start by saying welcome to the land of Rajnikant. So I think we need more interaction. So I know you guys have, many of you have come from Bangalore. You're all tired, probably sleeping. I am jet lagged too. I just came back from the US a couple of days ago. But let's just remember that in probably a couple of hours, this event is going to be over. So let's make the best use of the time. There are some very sharp minds in the room, and we all have burning problems as entrepreneurs. I think it's a great time to just learn from each other. And I will also tell you that I've never done an UnConference, so this is my first attempt. So if I screw up, I have people like Dorai Chodla in the room who are really experienced in running UnConferences, so I will call upon them. And so let's start with the structure of the session, right? So now I'm not going to be doing all the talking, you all are. So let me start by asking, okay, who has, let's get ideas from the audience. What topic do you want to talk about? And we can split it into 3 or 4 topics. So anybody can start, and then we can have a show of hands on how many people are interested in talking about that. Sales. How many people want to know about SaaS sales globally? Right, okay, that's probably very, very popular. Anything else? Pricing. Churn management.
Content marketing hacks.
Content marketing. How about lead generation and customer acquisition? I'm surprised that didn't come up. That's usually number 1. Yeah. Team building, team structure, team building. Okay, is anybody taking notes? Okay, let's. Where is Venki?
We have 2 right now.
Who?
Yeah. No, we have 2 items that probably.
Yeah. Before that, I also want Venki's help. Venki and one more volunteer to actually capture all the notes here, so that at the end of the session we can actually put it up on a wiki or on the Product Nation blog, and also possibly email it to you guys, right? So Venki, I know, is anyway taking notes. So and who else can be a volunteer? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Go to market. Okay. Yeah, 2 people is enough, and let's collect it later for the benefit of all of us. Okay, so go to market strategies. So we'll stop at 4, right? Because we have, I think, 1 hour and 15 minutes, and some sessions may run over. So let's keep it at 3 or 4. So we have, what do we have, Suresh? No?
Lead generation, then the
Sales, and then team structure. We have team structure. Okay. Okay. We'll probably allocate more time for the sales. Maybe.
We'll actually probably do sales itself as outbound and inbound.
Yeah.
And then we will keep lead generation. So we will do 3.
Okay. So let's so we have outbound sales, inbound sales, lead gen and customer acquisition, and then marketing. Content. I think marketing also marketing and go to market. We'll club that. We'll probably discuss this during marketing, right? Channel also falls under marketing.
Value proposition. Value proposition.
Value proposition. Any hands? No hands. Sorry. Bootstrapping or funding. How about funding? Anybody? No interest on funding? The VCs have wasted their time coming here. Nobody wants funding after Para's speech. So, okay. So let's get started without wasting time. So we will. So the way we will work, we'll start with sales. We'll start with probably outbound sales first, and then inbound sales, or we'll do a half-an-hour session on sales as a whole. So we could start with questions. Anybody who thinks they can add value to that by answering that question, it can actually put up their hands, and we will call you out, and you can actually share. If we will be here to moderate, if we can add some value, probably I will add answers, or I will call upon a few experts. I will also like to tell you that we have Dilawar Syed. Dilawar, where are you? Yeah, Dilawar actually was visiting from the US, so I just thought it would be good to have him here. So he runs Freshdesk US operations. Dilawar used to be a CEO of a Tiger Group company, and before that he was Vice President of Platform Strategy at Yahoo. Like, he can help answer some questions about setting up US sales. So he's currently running a US sales team, so I know some of you may have questions on that. We can call upon you whenever needed. So why don't we get started? Who wants to get going with first question on outbound sales? Everybody was interested in sales.
When is the right time to state of a product or company? When is the right time to have outbound sales?
Okay. So when is the right time to have an outbound sales team? Any takers? Maybe do you want to grab a mic? Suresh, can you give them a mic? So let's have 2 mics. One.
We'll first talk about the ideal structure of a SaaS sales team, and then maybe we can go into some of the implications.
Okay, Girish, you want to start? No, this is an UnConference. Yes. So, okay, now Rajan is going to specify the rules of the UnConference.
No, Dorai, we should call upon Dorai because he has a list, right? So we should ask him to.
Okay, Dorai, please, you are called upon. Okay, he's the most experienced UnConference. So, rules of UnConference, please.
The rules of UnConference is that there are no rules. So basically you start conversations. I think what we're doing is pretty good. You need a moderator just to make sure that nobody kind of monopolizes the conversation. But otherwise, I think what we have done so far, pick the topics. Normally we do it with a paper wiki. Here we did it informally, and then let people start asking questions and giving answers. There'll be more questions. So I think it's fine.
Thanks, Dorai.
So, early stage. Let's start with the early stage structure of a sales team, right? So, when you're early, you're the only salesperson anyways, right? So, later on, you would mostly have inbound sales, right? So, which means you typically tend to have a pre-sales team and an inside sales manager who's helping you close the deals, right? So, keeping track of making sure all the leads are tracked and the leads are not falling through the cracks, and you are diligently following up and closing the sales. So when it comes to inside sales, you are always looking at having a pre-sales plus salesperson. And when it comes to the sanity of the lead itself, you are typically looking at MRE position who would enrich the leads that are coming in and you are adding more information about the lead so that the salesperson is able to do things better, right? Followed by people who are generating these outbound leads from the outbound team perspective, followed by the closure team, right? So that at a very high level are the positions that you would look at, right? But the number of members and all that depends on how aggressively you are scaling, right? With that said, I'll give it back to Girish and then.
Thanks, Chris. So I will possibly also tell you something about what we do at Freshdesk. And so the question was when, okay, before the question you wanted to talk about the structure of the sales team, right? So the number one rule for a SaaS company operating out of India, right? First you need to know, are you going to get inbound leads at all? Or do you completely need outbound? So if you take a product like Freshdesk, which is a mature established category, customer support software, there are people searching on Google for customer support software or help desk software, then I can actually focus on getting inbound leads, right? And also like in certain categories, if the categories are established, it's easier to get a lot of inbound leads. If the categories are new, if like Avlesh and I were chatting, when nobody is searching for your product, then what do you do? How do you go outbound and start contacting or start prospecting with people and trying to get leads, right? So that's the number one question that I would lay. I'm not suggesting anything. It's for you as the founder of your company to understand what is the best way for me to think about it. And when it comes to outbound sales, I think the 7 o'clock session, the master is going to present what is relevant for today's outbound sales lead gen. The days of cold calling, spammy emails are all over. So the predictable revenue book, if you haven't read, you should read, and you will listen it at 7 o'clock today, where it's all about personalization and writing. Even if you're doing outbound, it's about personalized emails or first, without spamming, without feeling like spamming. It's at the end of the day when you're doing an unsolicited email, it's still spam, but how do you get more sophisticated about it? So that's one of the reasons. So I would just say, for most of us in this room, sitting in India, getting a feet on the street salesperson in the US may not be an option, at least in the initial days. So we have to think about how we can start getting customers. Either if you're going to go and meet customers, then maybe you are the salesperson who's doing it in India first, or some of the founders move to the US, or a lot of times inbound and setting up an inbound sales team, which is probably what is the book that we are going to release today, that iSpirit is going to release today, is about how to do sales from India. That's what we call as inside sales, where we don't actually, we do everything over the phone and internet. So we'll talk more about that. So this is context setting. So now we take the question.
Yeah, one thing, Girish, I wanted to add there is also the strategy to go outbound will also define the ticket size of your deal, right? If you have a $79 product into 12, gives you what, $700, $800 a year, right? With some discounts. That does not give you the ability, or there is no ROI to do feet on street sales for that. So you need to essentially execute an inbound model only, inside sales model only, right? Not inbound model, just an inside sales model only. So that's another point that you need to just keep in mind. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. If the price of your product is $30,000 or even $50,000 or more, it makes sense to meet customers. Customers would like to meet you, whether you like to meet you or not. Customers would like to meet you before they give you the check. You may still be able to close a few deals, but we know from experience that for every deal that you close, there are probably 10 deals that you are losing to competition, who's actually present there meeting customers and having coffee with them and closing the deal.
Yeah, so one thing which I wanted to add, this is probably the biggest...
What's your name? What's your company?
I am Bikash Barai, and I'm one of the co-founders of iWiz. So one of the biggest mistake which we made was in actually sales and marketing. So post raising our Series A, we went and hired a VP sales in US, a VP sales in Europe, and a VP sales in India. And after 1 year or so, all the geographies failed. we had very huge cost structure and nothing worked. So there are many aspects of that. I'll not get into all of those, but one of the key things which we committed as a mistake is that we did not go through the learning, the sales learning first before hiring the VP sales. So one of the things about, we were talking about the architecture or the organization structure, right? So one of the key roles in the SaaS selling is the person who will discover the sales process. Okay, and
that's a fantastic point.
yeah. So generally the CEO has to be the person. You can't generally hire another guy, because if you could hire that guy would himself start a company. So so first is discover that. So that discovery process is very important, and when you look at the sales, you can look at it very much like an engineering problem or a coding problem. Sales process can be very much like a piece of code. It goes exactly through that structure. So one of the reasons why our as very senior sales guy did not or could not perform was, it wasn't because they were bad or something like that. It was we did not figure things out, so they were trying to do things on their own. Okay, and that model did not work out. So what you have to do is you have to create a very specific process. And by the way, what happened was after that we, when we started, it was around 2007-8. We started a SaaS company. There were no kind of community learning, so we committed a lot of mistakes. Then the market tanked, so we had to fire everybody. Okay, and after we fired everybody, what we did was I sat down and created the sales process, put together the entire sales learning into document, like phase 1, the first line, this is what you speak. The second thing, this is what you speak. If this guy says this, then you do this. So the entire sales process became absolutely like if suppose one of you go with me for a sales call, if you go for the second sales call, you will see me telling exactly the same joke, pausing exactly at the same time. So it will look like as if I memorized that entire thing, which I did not. It was just a matter of practice. So I think once you reach a stage where you are able to do something as if another guy going with you will think that you did a kind of ratified this entire thing, I think that's a good thing. Okay, then what you need to do is create that into a process, very much like write a code kind of thing, and then train your guys. So what I did was I took very young guys and trained them. And the advantage of the young guys was they did not know anything else. Whatever I taught them, they just knew that. No scope for improvisation. Okay. And that model really worked out beautifully well. Our customer acquisition cost went down to 20%. Okay. And our we could recover our customer acquisition cost, the payback period, we could bring it down to 3 months. Okay, so the figures all of a sudden turned into something really beautiful because of this productizing of the sales process and discovering the sales process and doing a very, very regulated training. So I think unless as a founder, if you have figured out this, it's a good idea not to get a professional sales team.
Super. Good point. And I think there is also a blog post on when to hire a VP of sales. Paras was referring to that, right? Maybe if you can, in your speech, this point, I think this is also, there's a good blog post. If we can find it, we can link it.
I think later. Jason has written that.
Yeah, SaaStr, I think.
Yeah, there is a blog.
It's called some how to hire or when to hire.
To hire your
when
first
to hire
VP
your
of
VP
sales.
of sales.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he makes a point that you should at least hire 2 salespeople, so that so he makes a point that you should hire at least 2 salespeople and not 1 salesperson, because with one you just don't know if A/B testing exactly.
And IVIS got a successful exit. They got acquired. So if you just didn't know this company, okay.
Yeah, the question is, I think a lot of us are
That was old news.
a lot of us are